All right, happy Friday, everyone. We've made it to the end of the week. And if you'll notice on my map, we're a bit farther than where I was looking. And look, it's our friend. So, there you go. Now the dog will follow us. It's a good thing. So, what I did is I ended up going back and checking my last video and be like, so wait, where was I? And I was all the way over here because, like, I spent a good hour, almost hour and a half after work yesterday, just like trying to find where this dog went or this wolf went. So, anyways, we're still gonna go this way, and we'll just cut across and explore the map back this way, and then jump back up, so you don't like, run all the way back. Kind of thing. But still, it's just funny. I mean, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. My nickname has sometimes been a bull in a china shop, or people refer to me as a bull in the china shop because I'm not graceful. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But at the same time, if you take all the shots you can take, you're going to fail quite a bit because you do miss. I mean, it's the law of averages, right? Like, or the idea of averages that, with more shots comes more chance for missing. So, I don't know. And, like, I'll be giving a lot of advice on these things. I really hope that these videos help you out in some way in your own lives. But you got to remember, take everything with a grain of salt because this advice is coming from a normal person. I don't have any special powers. I can't talk to dolphins. I still make mistakes like everyone. And actually, what I wanted to talk about this morning is traffic laws. So, and I'm teaching my kids, as I'm dropping them off at school in the mornings, like, when there's a bad driver, someone who does and not necessarily they're a bad driver just because of making one mistake. However, if you don't address it, if they don't have some kind of recourse or some kind of penalty, and it doesn't have to be a fine. In fact, fines we need to move away from because, like, they could really be debilitating for people with lower incomes. I mean, like, I just paid a $75 fine for running a red light. Now, I love it because they do. I mean, I hated paying the fine. Nobody enjoys paying money, but like if that were to happen to me, even like 2 years ago, because I've been at this current job for about 2 years, coming up in August, so not even 2 years. So if it was 2 years ago today that I got that fine, I would have been livid. I might have gone out and committed some more crimes, like, in rebellion. I might have gone to destroyed some public property. Not really, because I mean, but say I was drinking or say I was having a bad time elsewhere, and like something would just push me over the edge. And people are getting that now. They're understanding. And Colorado is such a magical place because, well, one, we've had legal weed for almost the longest, and just that factor, giving its citizens a choice. Like, you can go out and party and you can have your beer, or you can have some bud instead. I mean, some people mix them. Excuse me. Oh, I forgot my water. Anyways, might take a break and go get some water here in a sec, but I can manage for a bit longer. But anyways, just that choice of, like, because people need to recreate, and it's hard. And yes, some people can recreate without using substances, but at the same time, I'll wager just about everybody listening to this didn't or drank a cup of coffee this morning. That's a substance. So it's a legal substance, but it's still a chemical that alters your brain some way. It enhances your, well, actually, it just makes you feel less tired. If you're still tired, that underlying tired is going to poke through, and it can be dangerous. Also, I was going to say, I think we got a full inventory, but we do have some dirt, so we can just bridge across. Actually, this is a very forgiving. I like that. That's cool. But we need a way across, and the dog doesn't matter. The dog will path, or it'll warp to us. So that's why I'm not like slowing down, waiting for it to catch up. Oh, a little glitchy there. And at some point, I am gonna fix all this. Like, I'm gonna figure out how to download maps because I know you can do it. I've been watching Waddles a lot, and like, he releases his world maps for players to download so they can play in whatever he builds, and they can learn from him. But honestly, I find more enjoyment of doing it myself. Like, and I think everybody does. Like, I mean, it's cool to like get the map and you can have it, but like, I hope that many people, once I start releasing these maps, will, if they download the map, then they'll go build their own thing. Like, they'll get to be like, yeah, look, that, there's some memories of good times there at this place that A-Rye built, but look at what I built. And, and then I hope that eventually people will build like massive things or even just impressive things, or it doesn't have to be. And then just be like, look what I did. and and to see the value in that. Not like, oh, I'm gonna go be rich and be a millionaire, but it's important to somebody, and that's important to me because that means that in some small way that's important to you in your day. Like that gives you some endorphins, some happiness, some hope, or whatever. Like keeps you going in this life, and it's out there. It's just often misunderstood. Like good intentions and all that. It really is a true thing. Now, back to the traffic stuff. So this morning, I'm driving with my kids, and that's actually how they learned the F-bomb, I think. Both my co-parent and I dropped the F-bomb in front of them, and we knew that there was a time where like, well, it could have been this time, or that, or grandma. Grandma swears like a sailor. She's a retired corrections, staff. Well, officer, actually, like ranking, like pretty high ranking. But anyways, I was about to say law enforcement, but that's not quite accurate. Like there is a difference between law enforcement, corrections, and lawmaking, congressional. So like there's like the three tiers of rehabilitation. So first you get the law enforcement, which is the tip of the spear, and they have the worst job, or not the worst, but like the most dangerous job. Um, Not to say the others aren't dangerous for whatever reason, for various reasons, but like law enforcement, they are the tip of the spear. They have to go and they have to be on the front lines and deal with people that could be on any number of substances, could be having any number of problems in their life, and all they want to know is, sir or ma'am, did you just break the law here? I need to make sure. And then if you did, I'm going to have to take you in and we're going to have to sort this out. Now, oftentimes, if you're polite and courteous to the officer, they'll just give you a warning or they'll do the bare minimum that they have to if you're showing respect to them. If you're exhibiting that you're able to keep cool in a stressful situation like that. And that's hard for a lot of people, especially when drinking is your escape. Like when you relax or you de-stress or decompress for the week or whatever it is, or even the day. I remember as soon as I was legally allowed to drink, actually no, I take that back. This was before I was legally allowed to drink, but in most countries in the world, when you're 18, you're allowed to drink alcohol and it's not a big deal. Now here we restrict it, and there's a few reasons for that, and say what you want about it, it is kind of dangerous because then it ends up being like as soon as someone's 21, then they go crazy, and I saw that firsthand I was in the engineering dorm at CSU. There was a bunch of kids, and I still call them kids, even though they're legal adults at 18, where you can get adult material, pornography, stuff like that, but you can't drink alcohol because people realized a long time ago, be like, it's still kind of risky. Not to say that like a lot of parents see this and they'll let their kids have a drink, have a beer, just to see what it's about. So it's not the forbidden fruit that adds that extra layer of enticement. Like, ooh, I want to drink because it must be something so special and so cool that it's so protected and everything. No, it's just if it's abused, and it's really easy to abuse. It's a sliding scale, really, depending on your background. Like if you grew up a little poorer than others, even if it's just a little bit, like if you're constantly noticing your friends getting nice new things or having these things, and a lot of it's just perception too. You might be getting just as many nice new things, but you don't realize it for different reasons. Like you might not have noticed, like, oh wait, no, we have that at home. And then there's a lot of those jokes on YouTube, like, having whatever it is at home is usually a cheap knockoff version. I mean, because at the same time, like, parents want to give their kids everything. I know. I'm one of those. But I don't. But I take the time to explain it to them. And you got to be succinct, too. I cannot stress this enough. You have to keep it short and sweet. It's part of why I started chopping these down to half-hour videos, because I was doing hour-long musings, and while I thought it was okay to just talk for an hour about a subject, it's really hard, and you really should save that for like college classes. A lot of them are only 50 minutes because they don't even want to go the full hour. They want to give you, and plus they have to give you 10 minutes like between classes. So if you do have a class back to back, which most advisors advise against, but sometimes you just got to go with what you can, because if they need this specific class to graduate, then they have to do it at whatever times it's offered, and it's tricky. So. But people are getting better about that sort of thing. Oh, sorry, cow. Let's see. Nope, little ways up and we can start cutting back across. So anyways, yeah. Back to traffic laws. So this particular thing, and in Fort Collins, and we're in northern Colorado, Fort Collins, Loveland, Windsor, like we kind of go around all these areas up here. It's basically like a second Denver. I mean, it's like quickly becoming another city. where it's just a bunch of little towns that make up a city. Anyways, we have a lot of places where there's a turn lane that's split. And by that I mean, so when you're at this point, you're supposed to turn at this turn. And then if you're not turning that turn, you're supposed to wait, and you're never supposed to cross a solid white line. That's a law, and I know somebody that got a ticket for that. I'm down in Denver, but still, I mean, they got a ticket, and it wasn't cheap. And for this very reason. So what happened was, as we were at one of these such places, and I was driving with my kids, and we were listening to the radio show. We listened to the Jubal show where they talk about there's a segment to catch a cheater. There's another one about ghosting, and they're learning about relationship stuff. Which, and I don't know. I mean, they're already learning it through things like Disney and like dating and marriage and families and but people are often shying away from certain things. I let them listen to that stuff, and they already know. Like, they're not dumb. In fact, and I actually knew by first grade what a lot of that was. I didn't like quite understand it, like how it really fit together, but it was silly to me that, anytime someone would be like, "Oh, little ears, little eyes, little, like let's protect the children," like they don't know. It's almost like disrespectful. Not to say that I'm like, "Hey, kids, watch this porno." Like, no, that's illegal and that's horribly sick. Like, no, certain things need to be waiting. And by the time they get to fifth grade, they see all that anyway. They get explanations, not porn, mind you, but like they actually see diagrams and stuff of what's what, and that's fine. That's our cutoff point. Like, okay, and then from here on, now you know what's what, so you got to be careful and don't do that until a certain age and blah blah blah. But anyways, and then if you're a Christian, it goes even further. Don't do it till marriage. If you're, a quote unquote good Christian, or more so like a Catholic, which is like a more hardcore form of Christian, which is a whole slew of other problems, and we will talk about those. But the traffic thing. So it happened that there was a truck that decided, oh, I need to turn, but I didn't realize it was the next one, not this one. So they just kept going, and basically, if I didn't see them, I could have tried to turn thinking, oh yeah, there's no one in front of me going in this turn, and that's why they do it. Then I'm good to just signal, and although you're always supposed to check and look. But this truck just barreled through, overran solid white lines, and did an illegal maneuver. Now, the car behind him saw it, and was like, oh, well, they did it, I'm going to do it too. And that's when I lost it. I turned, I flipped them off, I started pointing at them all aggressively, and I even moved my car to block them coming in there, and I held my finger up and I flipped them off hard. And it was this lady, and I was like, you did wrong, and she did. She stopped and she slowed down and she let me go because I had my signal. I waited until the proper time to enter the turning lane. Now, okay, that could be considered, it's not a very good thing to flip people off. Except when they're about to do something that's a risk to safety. That's the way I see it, is because she was doing an illegal maneuver that could have it would have resulted in a traffic accident had I not looked and then got mad. Because she was just going to do it. She assumed that I was going straight and I wasn't going to turn into the turn lane that she was basically entering illegally. So, and just that little thing, and I just got this car. I mean, it's not a brand new car, but it's pretty freaking new. It's expensive. It's like what most of my money is going to right now. My car and eventually a house that I'm trying to buy. And that's it. I'm tapped out. Providing safe transport and safe housing for my kids and me. That's gonna eat up most of my fancy job. But that's okay because that's the whole point of working. Is you got to get your needs met. So, and this happens all the time. I mean, never like that. That was an interesting new one. But whenever I see it, I wag my finger at people if it doesn't directly affect me. But I mean, if it does directly affect me, then yeah, you're going to hear about it and you're going to get a little accountability right there. And she knew, and for the rest of the drive, because she was actually driving pretty close to us, she was much better and much more cautious because she knew I was paying attention. So, and all it takes is a phone call to police. Everybody has a phone now, and I've thought about that. I really should be driving with a phone constantly recording things for just such occasions. A lot of people started doing that because it's people are getting fed up. I mean, just because you want to take a shortcut that day does not mean that it's going to end well. Especially, I mean, quite the opposite. There's a good chance that it's not going to end well. You could be in a traffic accident and then all the other problems that go with it. So, I mean, say we got hit. Okay, there's potential danger to my children. If they got injured, I got injured, then maybe I won't be able to work. Maybe I mean, of course, that's not for my job, but I sit at a desk and I can work from anywhere mostly. But No, but say I needed my physical body to work. Say I was a construction worker or production or anything that required physical ability, that could hinder me and that could hinder my livelihood. And all of this just because she wanted to be lazy and she saw someone else do it and there was no accountability, no recourse. And I think the truck saw me too. And then guess what happened? All three of us ended up at the next light, and she just did not. She didn't look over. She even had her visor down so where she could hide behind it. And I stared at her. I waited for her to look over because she knew she messed up. And everybody needs to do that. Now, was it a little aggressive? Maybe. I mean, and I didn't flip her out for that long. I mean, it was a very quick thing. And then I went back to just pointing at her. But I was shaking my fist angrily. Like, I want you to know that I am not happy with your choices right there. And my kids are in this car, so I'm especially not happy with your choices right there. And this is a full-grown adult. She looked older than I am. And, like, and she, yeah. And that's another thing is, like, try not to be in a hurry anywhere. And if you are in a hurry, you got to take extra care because that's how traffic accidents happen. I mean, if you're in a hurry or if you've been drinking or using substances, and I don't condone driving with cannabis use, like you need to be safe. If you're going to use cannabis, you use a bike, you use a skateboard, or you walk, or you get a ride. Like it's just like alcohol. I mean, not just like, but still, got to be careful. So, and even with alcohol, I mean, I did some tips training because one of my jobs, we did functions where we served alcohol, and we were serving alcohol to clients, and we needed to be able to do that safely. So we took official training that all bartenders and alcohol people or people that deal with alcohol in their jobs have to take this training. It's called tips training. And if you visibly see that they might have had too much, you're supposed to offer them water, maybe offer them some food, maybe offer them a lighter drink, or even just be like, hey, I think you might need to start slowing down. Could I interest you more? And it's a hard thing. Like, it's tricky to tell people that, especially when they've been drinking, because then it's like their caution, their decision making is impaired. So they might think, oh no, I'm good for another beer or two. I'm good. And I've had that happen to me. I had a couple beers at work, and my coworker said, no, let me drive you home. And so that calculated to, okay, that means my car stays here. Um, I have things to do later and all this. And if I had gotten pulled over, who knows? The breathalyzer would have had to been at a certain amount. If I had I think I just had the two beers. I might have had three, but over the course of time, the general rule is for every beer you have, you're supposed to wait an extra hour to sober up. And that's not a perfect guideline because everybody's different. Everybody's body processes alcohol differently. So, I mean, I had a buddy who was barely over the limit, but he was over the limit. He didn't wait enough, and the cop even said, "Oh, should have waited an hour." And literally, that's all it would have taken for him to drive, blow into a breathalyzer, and blow under the limit. And it's hard. And he got hit with the same trouble that somebody that was blackout drunk and blew a 3.0 on the thing or whatever. Like it wasn't really a sliding scale, and I like to hope that they're addressing that, but. I mean, because that just didn't seem fair at all. I mean, yes, by law, I mean, and it didn't matter that he was just going around the corner to take a lady home so she could sleep it off. But one of their friends, no less. But anyways, doesn't matter because the cop has a job to do. So did the Nazis. Just kidding. Ooh! Oh, look at this! Alright, where are we at, too? I feel like... Okay, no, we still got, 10 minutes. Alright, let's explore this jungle temple. These are cool. So, then randomly... Wait, you... Stay there. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to risk that because I'm going to forget. I was going to say, if you're not careful, there's a trap. Okay. Is this it? Yeah, that. I think it's the... It'll shoot. Yep. Where's the thing? Oh, there it is. Ah, it could shoot me. Ah, all right. So, ooh, diamonds. We're taking that. Bones, yes, yes, thank you. What else can I get rid of? I don't really need his armor. Ooh, sure, why not? That looks fun. Okay. Oh! Ah, there's another tripwire right there. That's so cool. If you run up to it, then you'll definitely get shot. Unless you, like I did, I opened it from afar. So there's ways. Ah! And then there's also... Oh, something happened. Hmm. Something just moved. Am I missing something? Also, let's go ahead and take these. Oh. And arrows are better than paper. Okay. But I think there's something, like there's something to these levers. That made something move. Oh! There we go. Secret up here? Is this what it is? I don't even know. Let's go back and chart. Let's test out. Nope. This is already like this. There was a third level, so I don't even know what these levers do. I just know that there's... Like, what? Also, I want these things. Nope. Tripwire hook, yes. Well, I mean, these things are really cool anyway, but... And I want to make booby traps my own thing, but I don't know. Like, I hear that. Well, let's trigger it and let's go look at the outside. Because it can only really affect something, I think, on this side. You know, and it can't be something too extravagant. Because it has to have... Well, let's even go back there and then... Let's investigate this. So... This is a comparator. Oh! What is this? Oh, wait. Well, I don't know what that does, but here's a chest. Smithing templates. Nice. Oh, whoops. Okay. What do I can get rid of that. Okay. These things. Sticky pistons. Taking these things. There we go. But yeah, that was cool. So it looks like, so that one did something. I don't know. There's some way that, like, so if that one was that, this would be active. So maybe that locks it. I don't know. But it's some kind of little cool trick that you have to do a certain pattern, and then it'll work. So anyways, where are we at as far as exploring? Oh, that was so cool. I love this game. It's so interesting. But anyways, traffic laws. So you should always, and here's the thing, like I said at the beginning of this episode, I make mistakes too, and I did a traffic faux pas. It wasn't illegal, but it wasn't safe either. Well, two things. So there's a yield sign. You're supposed to yield at the yield sign and then proceed if clear. And there's a particular turn that the oncoming traffic, and it's a pretty busy street, the oncoming traffic gets an arrow and you're supposed to yield. And so I stopped right at the yield sign and I let all the cars go through the traffic arrow. So there's no question of if I'm going to be safe and let them pass, or if I'm going to try to be an idiot and try to sneak in there, you know, and cut in line. Because it's basically what you're doing. Is you're cutting in line in that aspect. And then all of them went through, and I had a driver come up behind me and notice that I was there. And you can tell sometimes they start inching forward to like try to encourage you to move up. But it's like, no, legally, the sign is the sign, and that's the start part you're supposed to adhere to. Same with the stop sign. Technically, every stop sign, you're supposed to stop behind the sign. Like, draw an imaginary line from the sign, blocking the road, and that's your guide to where you need to stop. And that's why they design those for that, because they want you to stop right there, not a little bit in front of the sign. And sometimes it's a little easier than said than done, because I mean, sometimes the signs should be up a little ways because it's dangerous. Like maybe there's a barrier, like an obstacle you can't see around, so you need your visibility. And even then, what most traffic cops would probably tell you is, well, stop where you're supposed to stop, and then inch up and creep forward to get visibility, and then make the judgment call of whether you can go or not. Make sure nothing's coming. Like, I mean, make sure it is a four-way stop or they are going to stop. And even then, I have seen an accident like that. Oh, sorry, wait, let's go back to the thing I did stupid. So, and part of that getting a traffic light taught me yellow you got to be careful with. And I hate it when people go into the intersection, like, and then they just assume, or they just do it at, like, it looks like more like habit than an accident. Because technically, again, you're supposed to stop where it says stop and then proceed when it's clear. And so I misjudged. I didn't see the whole situation, and so I started to go into the intersection. Then I saw that there was someone, they were turning right from the oncoming traffic, so technically I still wasn't able to turn. I just saw that there was a gap in the cars that were going straight, like going through the intersection. So yeah, that was on me, and I waited, and then the light turned yellow, and then I cleared out the intersection, which I hate doing. Because then it's like, technically, you shouldn't be there. Like, if you followed the traffic laws completely safely, you would be sitting back there waiting for the next light, but it would be safer and more predictable. Because it's not even just about, like, oh, it was safe this 1,000 times. All it takes is that one time, that 1,001 time, where you hit somebody or someone hits you. Because they didn't expect you to do it. It caused unexpected driving behavior based on the rules that you learn to get your driver's license. Every driver on the road needs to be able to hold you accountable and responsible to follow these same laws. Otherwise, it's just chaos, and that it is chaos in the rest of the world. Like they're learning like driving stuff and what works for them. Like I could never imagine. Like in Dubai, it's a great example. Like Dubai, their driving it's beautiful, but beautifully horrendous. Like, I mean, there's so many times where they ride the line, they just kind of float back and forth, and then they do things, and and since all of them are doing that, and all of them are aware, like I wonder what the traffic accident statistics are. But yeah, I don't know, and that's why I still begrudgingly paid my fine. Well, that, and also I'd go to jail if I didn't pay my fine or get in trouble. But at the end of the day, it did make sense to me. It was like, you know what? I ran a red light. I was caught dead to rights. Like, they sent me pictures in the mail, which was great. Like, because I thought I was actually in the intersection before the light had turned red. And it turns out that the camera took the picture, and I was 2/10 of a second. It's like, one, that's a second right there. So 2/10 of that was when the light actually changed. So technically I was not. But to the human eye and the human understanding, oh yeah, I was most likely in the intersection when the light was red. And they do that because it is almost impossible to contest that. Be like, okay, the law states that once the light is red, you shall not pass. You shall not pass this line, this imaginary line that comes out from, or actually it's not even imaginary. On most streets here in Fort Collins, like they do have a crosswalk and a line that you're supposed to stop behind. And it's funny, sometimes people get mad when they're walking, and rightfully so, if you're over the line and you're in the crosswalk. And then I've seen traffic accidents where people realize they messed up. They're like, oh, I'll just fix it. I've done this one too, where you just back up without looking and you end up bumping the car behind you. I did that, but that was back when I was the resident manager of an apartment complex, and like the kid knew that I worked for the complex and I was one of the bosses, and like, but I apologized to him, like, oh, I'm so sorry, man, I didn't. And we had both seen this girl, and he didn't see me backing up because he was checking out the girl, and because it was this really cute girl that was trying to walk. I was like, oh, pardon me, trying to be all chivalrous and be like, wow, she's cute, and like all this, and of course, human nature, like, it happens. I mean, we can't ignore it, but And then we had a good chuckle about it. We checked the cars. There was no damage. I just barely bumped his car. I don't think there was even a scratch. It was just like, and even if there was, it would have been so small and like, no worse than a lot of people end up doing in parking lots, which is kind of annoying when you have to go somewhere where you have to park somewhere public all day. Yeah. So, anyways, looking at the time, I think well, I'll wait for the buzzer, but we got most of this map discovered. Oh, look at that. Nice sunset. Oh, look! I don't think I've seen that variant of a dog before. Interesting. Oh, and two of them. That's death. That's death. Questionable. One heart. Two hearts. Three hearts. Ah, ah, ah. And I don't remember if we've slept, so let's actually go ahead and do that, because I was going to try to get some more spider eyes. Oh, well, that's time anyway, so. I hope you learned something today, and it all comes down to respect. Respect yourself and respect others, and that definitely goes for driving too, because if you do that, you might make it to your destination 1 to 5 seconds faster. And in this case, we were all at the same light, so it really didn't matter. Oh, 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 jeez. Ah, okay, cool. Um, but that's the thing, and then it's embarrassing because you're all at the same light looking at each other, and what do? Hide your face in shame or get another finger. Like, I was just wagging my first finger at her, for most of it, but I was mad. I was mad. I expressed my frustrations and I got the point across, and she drove safer after it. Granted, her day might have been a little weirder, like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe what happened to me today. This angry parent, like, almost let me have it. And I'm a big guy too, and I realize that. And so I try to, like, I mean, not huge like a mountain or anything, but I definitely got a lot of muscles, and so I need to take extra caution. Be like, okay, my actions might come off a little scarier than if I was just a wee little guy just like raging at you. And that's often why people rage a little harder than others, because they might feel small or seem small. And a lot of that's projection too. I mean, same with chihuahuas. I hate chihuahuas. They always got such a big bark. And sometimes they bite too, because like they're like, oh, like little doggy. I'll punt that thing across. I'm just kidding. I would never kick a dog. All right. Anyways, on that note, oh, it's 32 minutes. I get it. Yeah, I gotta get to work here in like 10 minutes. So, ta-ta for now. I'm gonna clean up this little thing I spilled. Hope you have a great day, and yeah, I'll probably be on this afternoon. I'm gonna try to do some Fortnite, and Bloodborne, because I had a very unsuccessful last Bloodborne video where I just did the Nightmare Frontier, and I died. I lost 30,000 blood echoes. But anyways, ta-ta for now. We have our dog. We're almost done with this exploring this map, and we'll be back musing in our home base. So, see you next time.